Hi, this is Raylene with an update from Maui. The date is 8/16 and wanted to share some things going on the ground. There are still reports of people being stranded in the Lahaina area that don't have cell service, gas, running water, and they're not able to get to the supply centers. So there is still kind of a crisis going on. We're not sure how widespread that is, but it is a very spread out area, and it's a very large area in that area of Maui that has been cut off from most of the supplies. The government did announce that they're finally opening the bypass road around Lahaina today. I know in the past they've tried to open it a little bit twice, and due to what's things that are going on, they've closed it down. So hopefully it can stay open this time, because the issue is that people who live there have not been able to get out to areas where they can go to stores and get the supplies or medications they need. And then if they leave, it's questionable whether they can get back in. And the government is saying, yes, this road is open, but it's the most dangerous road on Maui. Most of it is a one-lane road over a cliff with a lot of blind turns and corners. It's extremely dangerous. So it is not really safe for people to travel on every day. I would ask, if you see this and you are able to go back into that area, please only go if you live there or have a very, very good reason to go there. Please don't go there to take photos. Lahaina is a mass burial site and grave. The bodies have been pretty much incinerated, and it's going to take a long time to recover what remains they can, or even identify them. And I think that's part of the concern of why they've been shutting things down. But while they're shutting this down to respect those who have been deceased, it's blocking those who are still living from receiving the vital services and supports and being able to access even their homes that they need. So there's multiple problems going on here. When it comes to the casualties in this area, it is very sketchy what happened. No alert system at all. Reports of roads being barricaded in and out of the city so that exiting was very difficult. Nursing homes there not evacuated. The schools were shut down that day, partially due to high wind, and teachers had a day off. And so there were a lot of children home. Of course, would your child know what to do without any warning if this happened, and where would they even go for safety? And then another issue that is coming more to light is, why were all the boats on fire in the harbor? Even the submarine that's made of metal was burned, and there's images of it floating upside down in the harbor. Well, there was a gas tank fuel system on the harbor to supply fuel for the boats, and it exploded, sending gasoline everywhere. So many people who went to the water to save themselves were, again, they didn't make it because of the gas explosion and the water being on fire. I mean, it's just such a tragic situation all around, and there's a lot of people who are going to have a lot of questions that they need to answer about what the breakdown was in communication and alert systems. We have a huge tsunami system here, warning system. People are saying, oh, well, if it went off, people would have been running uphill into the fire. I mean, people, if they would have came out of their house, they would have seen that there was a disaster. I heard a story yesterday of a mom that lived in that area, and she went down for a nap, put her child down, and the child would not sleep and was just up, and she was getting really frustrated. Well, when the mother finally got up and looked out the window, she saw all the smoke and everything going on, and she barely escaped. So there was literally no warnings going on it's really unfortunate. I'm getting asked, should we come to Maui? What should we do? And I'm hearing there's so many perspectives, and I ultimately will do what resonates in your heart for you. But there's two sides of this. There is an island that has been devastated by this mass casualty event and huge loss of life. There's still bodies that have not been recovered. Many people still missing. I think there's well over 1,000 people still missing. And I believe that there's probably even more, because we have a huge homeless population here. And I'm sure you know people that don't really have family. And so if they were to go missing, would anybody report them missing? And so it is very hard for people in that situation to see tourists out there, having fun and snorkeling on the beaches or trying to get in and take pictures and do social media posts. This is why you probably won't see me in Lahaina unless I get invited or have, a clear open access way to go that's not going to infringe or interfere on anybody else's space. Because I think the people that need to be there need to have the space to do that. And we don't need to be in that area unless we're needed. There are so many grassroots efforts and places where you can take donations, send donations, and they're taking, you know, one supply truck in to deliver versus hundreds of people trying to go in and say, I'm delivering something for you. We let the network that's already set up take care of it. There's boats going in, there are trucks going in, and grassroots efforts that are really making this happen and supporting the community. And then on the other side of the island, and the places not impacted, which is more than half of Maui, there it's business as usual. There are people that this island is built upon the tourism industry, over 3 million tourists a year. And so how are we going to be able to sustain this recovery if there is no tourism? So many people are losing their jobs. They have lost their homes, they have lost their jobs, and now they can't even come to this side of the island to get a job because there's mass layoffs happening because there's not enough tourists to service. So this is a really delicate situation. If you ask, you know, people who are really deeply grieving, which we need to grieve, they'll say, get out, don't come. But you ask those who are in the service industry, they'll say, this is our business. This is our livelihood. They already went through the horrific event of COVID for 2 years, which did end a lot of businesses, and a lot of people, you know, were not able to sustain themselves. I know the government has said that they are releasing unemployment for anybody who asks. Again, I don't know how that's really going to play out. Well, it is to be seen, honestly. But for us to keep giving, you know, a lot of the people that rely on that service industry have to have some tourism. So I would say make sure, you know, you connect with Mother Maui if you know how, and ask permission to come here. If you do come very respectfully, and make sure that you are not trying to go and take pictures of this mass grave site. Be very sensitive. And if you come, please consider giving back. So many people come to Mother Maui and they just they get filled up and say, oh, this was an awesome vacation, I feel so great. And then they take off in jet and they give nothing back. So if you come, please consider giving something back to the island, to the people here. Another question I'm getting is, how can we give back? How can we support? There is a list. I feel like the best way is to give directly to the families, because then they can get exactly what they need. And there is a list. I'll see if I can link it to this video. Hopefully, if not, I'll try to put it in the comments, that is being vetted by someone of families who really lost things and actually do need help. Again, use discernment on choosing which one. Maybe don't pick the one right at the top, and if you are on that list and you have enough, please let them know so that the people who still need supplies and funding or assistance can get that. I talked to someone working at the Humane Society yesterday. There's a lot of animals being surrendered right now. And anyone who needs supplies for their pets can just drive through and get whatever they need, no questions asked. They have an Amazon wish list on their website, and you can ship supplies, dog food, and things for free from a lot of websites. I would recommend, because it's a big agency and I don't trust big agencies, I would say ship them supplies versus donating cash. I've talked to the Maui Food Bank, and they are taking donations, supplies, distributing those to the community. Maui Brewing, I'm sure they're overwhelmed, but they are also taking in supplies, donations, and giving them back out. There has been a call to please stop sending clothing. I feel like, you know, in some locations there's too many supplies, and we have potential hurricanes coming, and concern about what to do with all these supplies that are being stored outside. We don't want to lose them. And so please, you know, the cash is really the best way, gift cards, but making sure that they go actually to the families that need them is kind of a tricky part. So if you know someone that has been impacted, or you can get on that list and maybe contact them and reach out. If you don't feel comfortable to sending Venmo, you can maybe say like, hey, can I send you a gift card? Where would they need a gift card? And could you send a gift card for somewhere local? There's a lot of businesses that are really struggling right now. So if you have been to Maui and you have some favorite businesses that you love, consider supporting them on their website. Buy, you know, orders and for yourself and your friends, and support them that way, because they do rely on tourism for their livelihood. I hope that you found this helpful. Please like, please share, get the word out. And again, if you have any additional information that would be helpful, please put it in the comments. If you have any additional sources for donating, we've been working with Hungry Heroes Hawaii and the Maui Food Bank. I've talked to them and the other ones I mentioned. So thank you so much for sharing. We are so grateful for the outpouring of love and support. Please note that this is a long haul disaster. And don't forget about Maui. She does need your support, and it's going to take a very, very long time for her to recover. And the people, everyone here is just really in shock, and there's so much grief and sadness. We really do need time to grieve. So if you are here as a visitor, just please be very respectful and cognizant of that. Thank you.